Welcome to the Backlash at Backlash.com. My name is Rod Van Mecklin, and in this video I'm going to read excerpts from my 1992 article, In Marriage, Who Oppresses Whom? 1992, Bellevue, Washington. If men use marriage to dominate women, then wedding vows would stipulate female fidelity and leave men free to roam. In most cases, however, this is not the case. In Western societies, men are expected to be faithful to women, and any man who strays is in big trouble. This suggests marriage is for women, that they use it to dominate and control male sexuality. Feminists assert otherwise. According to Cher Haidt, marriage is the means by which men dominate women. It's the tool men use to own and control female sexuality. Is that why women adore weddings? Trying to have it both ways, however, Haidt also asserts many men are anti-monogamy. Regardless, if men do use marriage and monogamy to control female sexuality, then we would expect to find the institution of marriage first emerged at about the same time humanity discovered the male role in reproduction. But this is not the case. According to Ray Tannehill, in her excellent book Sex in History, monogamy existed long before people were aware of the connection between sex and reproduction. Historically, monogamy versus promiscuity had more to do with living conditions than anything else. Abundance promoted promiscuity, scarcity promoted monogamy or polygamy. But none of this is really relevant because feminists are less opposed to marriage than to men's rights. Feminism is neither about equality nor equal rights, but about gaining power over men by promoting superior rights for women. Marriage interferes with this agenda by according both partners certain rights within the relationship. Men with rights cannot be dominated. From their perspective, marriage undermines feminism by constraining women's sexual power. What's more, from the very beginning, monogamy and the nuclear family made women's lives easier. Far from taking power away from women, marriage celebrates a tremendous triumph for women. In Brain Sex, Anne Moir and David Jessel wrote, quote, "The very fact that marriage is, for humans, the norm throughout the world, when, as we know, men are naturally disposed against the institution, represents a remarkable triumph of the female brain and will. It is a truly stunning victory for female power and control over the naturally promiscuous biology of the male." Close quote. For generations, men have perceived marriage as the means by which women control them. This reflects men's experiences and men's truths. Feminists scoff, but that doesn't invalidate what is true for men. From men's perspective, therefore, we can say, with tongue planted firmly in cheek, that in less civilized parts of the planet, the practice of polygamy was and remains a means by which several women dominate one powerful man. This man's responsibility is to provide his wives with protection and prestige, sustenance, and sons. These women want sons. Sons give their men power. Women are the source of that power, and this enhances their power over their husband. Conversely, daughters diminish their power by adding too many new competitors vying for the attention of powerful men and by reducing the number of single men. When power is the means by which men attract women to their beds, a sexual conquest is not a man exercising his dominance over women, but over other men. Fortunately, ours is a more civilized society. Only one woman may dominate one man through matrimony. Irony aside, this makes as little sense as the feminist assertion that marriage is an institution by which men oppress women. True, some women, most of whom are long dead, were strictly controlled in marriage. Note, when I wrote that, we knew far less about marriage in the Islamic countries than we know today. Here, however, I'm writing about Western nations, not about cultures stuck in the 7th century. But should anybody today be held accountable for what happened 100 or 1,000 years ago? Should women today pay for how they have used marriage to dominate men for thousands of years? Given the extent to which feminists say women are oppressed by marriage, and as it seems to offer men few benefits, we might wonder if promiscuity would be better for everyone. Women who celebrate marriage know the answer to that one already. Fidelitous marriage is the bedrock of civilization. Before we had patriarchal marriage, as Daniel Amnius noted in his book The Garbage Generation, we had the matricentric Stone Age. Hence, the institution of marriage benefits all of us, and feminist opposition to it is nothing less than a call for a return to the Stone Age. Just as patriarchy made possible the evolution of philosophy, science, and technology, so advances in philosophy, science, and technology have made the evolution of our social institutions both possible and necessary. But when feminists threw out the stabilizing patriarchal institutions, they failed to replace them with anything better. 2015, Olympia, Washington. In her videos, Diana Davison advocates against marriage. Now, I respect her opinion and her preferences, and I value her channel. But thus far, her attempts to make a logical case against the institution have, in my opinion, failed. Could she eventually make a solid case? Sure, it's possible. Libertarian-like, I respect the right of every person to engage in whatever kind of relationship they want, as long as they do not violate the rights of anybody else in the process. At present, I'm MGTOW because in the West there are far too few suitable options, and the legal risks to marriage are just too high to make it worthwhile. Now, unlike Aaron Clarey's Virgin Tow, I've had several lovers, 7 to be precise, and I know several women that, in the old vernacular, I would consider marriage material. But they're either married, and I don't mess with married people, or they're people I only know about. Oh, and some relations too. I don't mess with cousins. Any man, for example, who does not find Julie Borowski eminently endearing is nuts, in my opinion. So I intend to outlive feminism, get rich in the meantime, and if at some point in my John Galt-like strike against feminism a Dagny Taggart comes along, wonderful. Would that mean marriage? It might, though not necessarily in the traditional sense. It would depend upon what she wanted and on how much I valued having her in my life. Because for me, such relationships are a gift you give to yourself, a partnership of the sexual kind with a person who is worthy to share in your adventures. But I will not settle for some slovenly product of the second and third feminist waves. That's all for now. Check out the other videos, subscribe to the channel. For the Backlash at backlash.com, my name is Rod Van Mechelen.